You guys, this thing right here.
This is one of the new wearables.
This is not the wearable technology you guys have been
The same way Flavor Flav would wear a clock around his neck, you would have around your wrist.
No, exactly not. But Art was giving us a great example of health tracking. So let's go ahead and take that a step further with something like this. And we're talking about advanced medical diagnostics. So this is something that you would normally see in your intensive care unit at a hospital, your ICU. This is where patients need advanced continuous monitoring. And this does it all, basically your blood pressure, your heart rate, as well as blood oxygenation. And basically you hook up all of these leads to this, so you have one on your finger for heart rate, and of course on your chest, in your head. So unfortunately, it's a little invasive for the patient, and then obviously you guys, not quite as portable. We're looking at about 20 pounds for something like this. So normally this would be a permanent fixture that you would see in the ICU, and as a patient, with all of your leads, you're basically going to be shackled to that bed. So kind of invasive. For the people outside of the ICU, now you're looking at people who need spot check type of monitoring, who basically put a bunch of equipment like this on a cart, and your health practitioner would push that cart from room to room. And
so when the doctor needs this measurement, the patient must therefore be in bed and be strapped up to this thing.
That is correct. And these spot checks usually happen once every 4 hours. So again, kind of invasive for the patient, not unless you like being woken up every once in a while, someone could put a blood pressure cuff on you. So wouldn't it be great as far as eliminating all of these problems that we currently see in the hospital? Obviously, this is incredibly resource intensive and really expensive for the hospital. But what if we could go ahead and shrink this down to something that where the equipment could be incredibly portable, and at the same time less invasive for the patient, or something maybe you wear on your like a wristwatch, something like this guy right here. So this is actually
that's doing everything. This is
a complete recreation of that, now in a wearable form factor here. This is the Visi mobile from Sotera Wireless. And as you can see here, we'll just give this guy a quick view. All of the vitals and this big crazy box monitors I have right here on my wrist. So you can see the heart rate monitor, it's a complete EKG down to the 2 milliseconds. As you see my blood pressure that I have there, respiration, and my blood oxygenation levels as well as skin temperature. So all the stuff that you would normally manage in the ICU, you can get here directly, uninvasively on this wearable device here, which is pretty cool.
You're pretty cool. If I was wearing that, I'd be doing 150 by 100.
As long as the demo works, I am you guys might see some alarms go off here recently, but
they got FDA approval recently, I hear.
That is exactly right. So the device itself was actually FDA approved last year, but just 2 weeks ago, they wrote the continuous, non-invasive blood pressure monitoring.
So you don't need the cuff that you typically have to wear for a blood pressure?
Exactly. You take away all the big problems like this, and now with this, basically with the FDA approval, it says that this is as accurate, it's actually even more accurate and reliable as some equipment that's been around.
I can't imagine for doctors at a certain point when a patient isn't best served by being in bed.
Well,
and furthermore, there's times when a doctor might weigh, I'd like to keep getting these readings, but I'd rather have the person get up and get around, so I'll stop getting the readings that I would prefer to get, and I think both.
Well, that's even better for the patient, and when you get something down to this size, it's a complete game changer. So we're talking about the way that we've approached treatment now is changing as a result. Let's take a quick example would be hypertension. So there's 70 million Americans that suffer from hypertension. So as far as a usage model, normally you would come into the hospital, you would stay a couple of days to get some advanced readings and be able to set up your plan for post-treatment. In which case you would go home and then come back for spot checks frequently to the hospital. However, with this, I go into the hospital once. I calibrate all of these vitals with my doctor, and then I can go home. I can continue my post-hospital treatment at home, so I can go ahead and spend time with friends and family on the road to recovery. But at the same time, this is sending out a gigabit of data every day for a patient.
And then that ends up in the cloud, in the
server, directly to the hospital, so they can go ahead and crunch that data.
And each one is sending out a gigabit?
Each day, each patient, 1 gig of data that's sent to the cloud and crunched as a result, and that data can then be extrapolated and applied to the patient's medical file, in which case you can go ahead and track their progress or go ahead and tune appropriately. So a complete game changer as far as this technology, and something we're pretty excited about to go from this all the way down to this.
I can imagine in a world where big data is able to be analyzed, but it's also going to be gathered where you can find new things because you end up with huge piles of data around a certain condition.
So the opportunity to do analytics on that much data over
I want to see this, I want to see that heart rate monitor while you're doing the curls.
But it's a good kind of workout item here, definitely for sure. But, you know, I think we got one more cool thing that we want to show you guys off as far as wearables. Okay, all right.
Come on, it's like, so we got